48-hour art check, round 41. Here we are again, round 41.
Yes.
We're
Very good.
Over the hill, all the old jokes. We're in our 40s now.
Yeah, I'm starting to. I just bought a sports car with no roof.
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
You can tell how wealthy I am as an individual. I just bought a sports car with no roof. Like, it took me a while to remember. Oh, those are called the convertibles.
Right. I had a quarter-life crisis once, but I haven't had a midlife crisis. My quarter-life crisis, I bought a motorcycle and quit my job and started driving around on the freeways and living on the streets. But that was, yeah, this is interesting.
Properly done. Properly done.
Right. Kevin talks about having that mobile art studio, and I keep needing to like talk to him and be like, dude, I've done this. Like, you need to, yeah. Except now that technology,
like, I can help you out.
Now that technology is much better. Anyway. But yeah. So, yeah. Should we jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Do you want to start this time?
Let's go for it.
Okay. Up first, we have, what have you done in the last 48 hours?
All right. I have done, frankly, not as much as I'd like. I did start blocking out the page, and I'm pretty much through my rough pencils, but they're a little rougher than I like rough pencils to be. So I kind of worked it out. Most of it was kind of remapping from the page that I'd previously done. So I feel like, you know, I succeeded at what I was aiming to do, but not quite as good as I wanted it to be. So
okay.
Yeah.
I have not. I was trying to finish this, and for reasons that I'll explain during challenges, was only able to get to the flat stage. I did make the final decision on my stickers and put that order in. But mostly what I've done in the last 48 hours is constipation, diarrhea, and explosive vomiting, lots of sleeping. And so
oh, no.
there's a little bit of that.
Wow. Okay.
Some challenges.
My challenges feel very minimal now. My main challenge has been just being really flooded during the rush season, doing a lot of overtime. And other than that, like, it's just simply like just trying to kind of gain momentum. And even though it doesn't look like I got that far, I did kind of overcome it a little bit by just doing the work and accepting it'll be what it is. So
yeah.
Let's hear your challenges, although I feel like
in a nutshell, I went into the doctor yesterday morning. They looked into my ear, and I have an inner ear infection and an outer ear infection, both fighting with each other. Apparently scary enough that they gave me a shot right there and then put me on 4 different types of medication, 2 of which conflicted with each other, because one causes constipation, the other causes diarrhea. Those don't equal out. They just they both happen. And then it got worse after that. So there's more, but I was mainly not capable of doing anything.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to get into plans. So my plan is to hopefully get the tight pencils done for this page, and definitely before that polish up the rough pencils a little bit better, and hopefully not have conflicting constipation and diarrhea, because that sounds terrible.
It's the worst. I will tell this story during my plans, just because, hey, it's out there already. I was on the toilet and couldn't get off the toilet because of what was happening on the toilet, and had to vomit in the shower.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and so anyway, my plans are like trying to eat solid foods again, staying awake. I literally haven't even thought about it. So I don't know. We'll have to come up with some plans. But
oh, man,
dude, it sucked.
And I can't believe you drove a motorcycle like for that long.
Yeah, I did 300 miles on the bike, and I didn't realize the severity of it. But the doctor, who normally are like pretty even keel, he was like, "Whoa." I was like, what do you mean, whoa? You know, and he's like, oh, you have an inner ear infection and an outer ear infection. Have you been swimming recently? I was like, no. He's like, oh, he's like, well, we're going to give you a shot right now, and then we're going to put you on pain medication, and then we're going to put you on this extreme antibiotic, and then we're going to put you on this steroid, and then I need you to come in tomorrow for a shot and the day after the next for the shot. So I got my second shot this morning and the third shot tomorrow. My ear feels a lot better, but but I went in this morning and I was like, dude, I was up all night and that was the worst. I had a goal to eat a saltine cracker yesterday. By the end of it, I was like, I'm gonna keep this saltine cracker down, and I did. So I met a life goal.
You met your goal.
Yesterday, I woke up at about 4 p.m. and thought I should try eating something. And I had a spoonful of Activia yogurt, which is supposed to be like some of the simple... Yeah, immediately threw up for a long time. And then
your gut was like, I don't want biome, sucker.
No, I reject everything. So like I drank like an ounce of water and didn't throw it up, and I was really excited.
Wow.
So that was unpleasant, but my ear feels a lot better.
Man, you know, I think we've touched on this in a previous, I think maybe it was me sick the last time or something, but the one thing that's nice about being sick, and I'm not trying to be one of those weird optimists, like, you know, on the plus side, like,
yeah,
you know, like, but there is a weird kind of byproduct of that is like we start realizing like how fortunate we are to have everything work most of the time.
I can't imagine feeling like that all the time.
No, I can't either.
Yeah. So anyway,
so it's definitely one of those. Yeah, but are you feeling any? Are you on kind of a road to recovery?
I had him switch out my meds this morning to something that feels better, and I was able to eat like applesauce today, and I've had quite a few saltine crackers and water, and it's all
held them down.
I'm doing good today. I feel like I haven't been asleep all day today, so that was good. Yeah, so it's crazy though, and we keep saying like, hey, you can do art no matter what, but yesterday there are legitimately times where you just can't.
Oh yeah.
And that's like I was thinking, I even thought yesterday like I should try to work on this. I think I sketched in like some legs and they were the worst, and so I was just like, no. I'm not gonna do it. So
you know what's strangely weird though, because the last time we had an ArtCheck, you weren't close to as far as you are on it though, so it looks like you've made a lot of progress.
Honestly, I inked this during Artcasters, and then flats are just fast, so that's nice. That's an hour. And I was watching TV with my wife, finishing like the legs. And
it's pretty good. That's good progress, man. Like, yeah. I mean, you squeezed it in,
and I'll finish it tonight.
Yeah, you will.
But anyway, since we've got 6 minutes left, do you want to talk more about projectile vomiting, or should we pick a topic?
Talk about the artistic, like what's the technique that you use when
the technique is if you're throwing up in the toilet, lock your elbows. If you don't, sometimes you could headbutt the toilet. I didn't do that recently, but I have in the past.
Has happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing is, like, if you happen to be in a public space and there's somebody you really don't like, you can make that work for you. So what should our topic be? I mean, man, could it be sort of dealing with those moments when you literally can't draw? Like, there are sometimes limitations where there is no way on earth you're gonna draw.
Yeah.
That could be one. Or maybe we could turn it to a topic of that being a really good reminder of the fact that, like, dude, when we don't have those limitations, why the hell aren't we drawing?
Right.
You know?
Well, and you look at like stuff that's happening like Mike Emmert's right now, where his hand is jacked up. Yeah, I mean that's like, you know, there are people telling him, "Hey, learn how to draw lefty" and stuff like that. And it's like there are, you know, so I mean that's there are some significant challenges that you can come up against. I think mentally, that's really hard, and it for a number of reasons. I remember watching this thing and it like freaked me out. But this guy did pointillism, and he was doing pointillism so much that he actually gave himself palsy in his hand. Just tightly gripping his pen so much that like it started to shake, you know, and so he just had like a permanent shake in his hand, and his whole talk was he got some advice about embrace the shake, and so he kind of like changed up his art style and changed the tools that he was using, and it was able to kind of overcome that. But
I mean, Charles Schultz, Peanuts, man, you can see it evolve from like a really like some of my favorite stuff, which is the 50s era. It's super clean.
Yeah.
And then because of the years of cartooning, you know, his hands started having tremors, and so he just made this style have tremors, which is something he's like noted for now. But that was out of necessity.
Yeah, and I remember hearing
he had those wobbly lines, you know.
Who was it that did Bone?
Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith. I remember listening to him on a podcast, and he wasn't taking care of his hand. And at one point in time, and this is like, I'm not suggesting that people do this, but this is like the level of dedication that you kind of have to have in indie comics sometimes. He would tape a tennis ball to his hand and then stab a hole in it and put his brush in the tennis ball so that he could draw with his arm, because he couldn't move his hand anymore. And then somebody was like, "Hey, maybe instead of doing that, you should go to the doctor." So then he did. But apparently he did a few months worth of Bone with a tennis ball taped hand apparatus.
Which just makes me hate Jeff Smith even more, because there's not a page of Bone that looks lazy or weird or rushed. Like, his ink work is so pristine. He's literally one of my favorite inkers, and that just annoys the hell out of me to think that he might have done some of those pages with the tennis ball.
Yeah.
But there's Chuck Close. You know, he's a classic example in art where, you know, he was a photorealist painter who had a severe car accident and was completely paralyzed. And so I think he has this whole gizmo. He rebuilt a studio to have like hydraulics and stuff, and he paints it like 10 times the size, and he just paints these giant pixels that create portraits, and kind of overcame like paralysis to create his art. So, I mean, there's people overcoming the odds all the time. I mean, you can look up YouTube videos of people who can't use their hand painting with their mouth, you know?
Right.
It's a possibility. However, I don't want to diminish the fact that, like, to me, having to, like, just being able to, like, have that skill taken away and then have to relearn it, the kind of frustration and irritation that would come behind that, I don't know if I'm a strong enough person to get through that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, once again, like, you know, for people who might be commenting to someone like, hey, just relearn how to draw with your left or whatever, I feel like, you know, that's for them to decide. But at the end of the day, like, that's a much easier thing said than done, you know? So, you know,
I don't know. I mean, it's so hard. It's so tough. And it is such an individual situation, because for every example that we just gave, you know, there's tons of people that switched careers and did something else creative, you know, or whatever. And, you know, who's to say what's right or wrong, like, for what works for that individual?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Anyway.
But I feel like...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like that almost dips into another topic, but we got to wrap it. So, and I hope you feel better the next time we have a check. That's rough, man. Especially with the with a newborn, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I'm not a single parent, and so
Yes.
I got the day off yesterday. My wife's kind of tired, but yeah, it was pretty hardcore. I used to get sick pretty frequently. I just had bad luck, like food poisoning, probably just the way I was living because I was pretty poor, and I would kind of eat whatever. But I mean, it was a pretty common thing to kind of go through what I went through yesterday, and I kind of anyway. I was reminded getting married to somebody who has good taste in food and cooks and things has really upped my lifestyle from like eating stuff that isn't fit for human consumption. Like
Yeah.
I went through it. This is I'll end with this story. This is not so that people pity me, but probably so people think I'm stupid and deserve everything that I'm getting now. I went through a period of time for about 10 years, maybe about 7 years, where I ate almost exclusively frozen chimichangas and orange juice, like 3 meals a day. Like I graduated from college. My dad came over to my apartment with, my parents came over to like visit. My dad opens up the fridge, and then he opens up all of the cupboards. And then he says, "Cory, do you need us to take you grocery shopping?" I said, "No, I've got a job. I'm all set." And he said, the entire inventory of your kitchen is a fork, a gallon of orange juice, and a freezer full of frozen chimichangas. And I said, "Yeah, I went shopping yesterday." And I owned a fork because I would buy paper plates in bulk by the tens of thousands because I hated doing dishes.
Yeah, no, I relate to that like a little too much. I think my first, like most of my undergrad, just getting through college, I had this single apartment and lots of paper plates that I would buy because I at one point had dishes, but they literally sat in the sink for like a year and a half. And it was like ramen and like chopped ramen. I would occasionally get eggs because I didn't mind frying things. And then a lot of like coffee and beer. And that was kind of like my sustenance for like 4 years. Like ramen, water, beer, and coffee, which is not a great mix. But it's funny what you can get away with, and then if I tried that diet now, I'd be dead tomorrow.
I can't even have a frozen anything anymore.
Oh,
like I've adjusted to the point where if I were to toss a corn dog in the microwave or something, like I would have a day like I had yesterday. My body, I think, has like PTSD, dietary PTSD, and it's like, no, we've been through this already. We're done.
Yeah, that's the roughest part, I think, of the overtime I've been doing lately because I often get off so late that I have to get something on the road.
Right.
And so, like, the last, 3 days I've been having to do, fast food dinners. And my butt, it's funny because I'm still maintaining my workout. But today I was like, I'm not even going to drink protein after this workout because there's too much of this, whatever this is. And it may not be protein, but it's just gonna add and yeah. So anyhow, here's to better diets, to
better lifestyles in round 41.
Yeah, so I will see you at round 42, sucker.
Right. Oh man, if you want to take a look at Josh's stuff and his matured eating, you can go to quarterlystories.com. Some of that has some nostalgia stories. Maybe he'll go back to food. If you want to look at my stuff, you can go to corykerr.com. There's a bunch of stuff up there. You're on Josh's channel, so make sure if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, hit that bell, like this video, and a special thanks to No Saboteurs for the intro music. You can check them out at facebook.com/NoSaboteurs. So we will see you guys in a couple days, hopefully when we're all much healthier and have eaten normal food.
Word.
Okay, see ya.